Hello everyone, my name is Ryan West. I am the Customer Success Team Lead here in our US office, and today I'm going to be giving you an overview of SEMrush, showing you some of the reports that we have available, so you can have a better idea of what you can do with our tool. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in with our domain analytics overview. Today we'll be using eBay.com as a good example for a lot of our reporting. So just to give you a brief understanding of where a lot of our data comes from is we actually have a keyword database, and this is always changing. We're always adding new keywords, but right now our US Google database has 120 million keywords in it. What we're basically doing is analyzing the search engine result pages of those 120 million keywords and then showing you some of the information that we can get from that. So why don't we jump into organic research first. So here we have our positions report. On the positions report, we can see that eBay.com ranks for almost 32 million of those 120 million keywords. We're estimating about 140 million traffic going to eBay.com just based on those 32 million keywords. And then we estimate a traffic cost. So that's basically a number. If eBay wanted to pay for this traffic through AdWords, they would expect to pay about $130 million for that per month. So what's cool is you kind of have a assigned value for this organic traffic that you're getting. Down below, we can see the organic search positions. These are basically just the positions of those keywords, these 32 million keywords. So we can see eBay, of course, they are position 1. We can see the volume, the keyword difficulty, which is a scale from 0 to 100. That is basically telling you how difficult it would be to rank in the top 20 for this keyword. So the higher it is, the harder it is to rank. We have the average cost per click here. This is in US, and you can actually change that depending on the database that you're in. We have the URL itself that's ranking, so it's just the home page. The traffic percentage, so about 25% of all eBay traffic is coming from just the keyword eBay. The cost percentage, so that's coming from this traffic cost up here. It makes up about half of the 130 million. And then we have the competitive density, which is just looking at how many people are actually placing AdWords ads for that particular keyword. This is on a 0 to 1 scale, so 0.04 is very, very tiny, which is what you would expect from a branded keyword. We also have how many results show up in the actual search engine result page. We have got a traffic trend, and then we also have a search engine result page itself. We index these, so you're able to click on this and see the actual page that we're analyzing. So pretty cool there. Up here, we have the SERP features. We can see how many of these keywords are bringing up knowledge graph, how many are bringing up an instant answer, and all that good stuff here. So you can actually sort by these metrics and kind of find keywords that are going to be maybe beneficial to you if you're trying to find keywords that have knowledge graphs and things like that. Okay, you're also able to select keywords that you're most interested in. So let's say you're looking at a competitor. We can go ahead and pull some of these keywords that maybe we want to target and then export just those. So we can export just the selected ones that we want. So that's pretty cool there too. Now let's move on to the position changes report. In the position changes report, we can see a day-to-day analysis of where our positions are actually changing. Are we moving up? Are we moving down? Are we losing some keywords? Or maybe we're gaining some keywords? So let me pick one of these here on April 15th. And when this loads up, we're actually going to be able to see the keywords that eBay is no longer ranking for as of April 15th. So this will be pretty cool. Okay, so this is the position changes report. So the position changes report is going to show us some of the new, lost, improved, and declined keywords of eBay.com. So we can take a look here and see which keywords they are no longer ranking for, keywords that they are newly ranking for, or some that have just shifted in position. So what's important to note here is this is actually by landing page. So we see here that a new keyword is that they're ranking for PayPal. They probably have always been ranking for PayPal, eBay as a domain, but this particular URL is the one that is newly ranking for that keyword. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at the position changes report. We also have a competitors report. So the competitors report is going to find other domains that are ranked for common keywords. So for example, Amazon.com shares about 5.7 million keywords with eBay.com. So a pretty big competitor here. The other factor we're looking at are the total keywords that the particular domain is ranked for. So as we can see, Amazon shares 5.7 million and has a total of 63 million. But if we look down a little bit, YouTube has 5.1 million. So you'd expect them to be, well, probably number 2 on this competitor report. But if you take a look, they actually rank for almost 120 million keywords. So because that ratio is so high, we know that YouTube isn't exactly a direct competitor. And that's why they're a little bit lower on the list. And we rank those by the actual competition level, which do look at those 2 factors. Now we also have a pages report, which will show all of the URLs of eBay.com. And we have a subdomains report, so we can actually look at data just on certain subdomains of eBay.com. Now let's move into the backlinks report. Now our backlinks report is always crawling for new and fresh backlinks, so you'll always see very, very updated backlinks in here. We actually have a graph here of the new and lost backlinks. We have the total backlinks, the total referring domains, referring IPs, and then a domain score and trust score. So the domain score is mainly looking at how many links are actually linking to eBay.com, and trust score is looking at the actual value of those links linking at eBay.com. So if those links are mainly spammy or not very good links, you'd expect a very low trust score, but here it looks to be the opposite. Some pretty good links heading to eBay.com. We can see the backlink types, so we can see whether they're text or image, form or frame. We can see the follow to no follow percentage, the TLD distribution, so you can see how many are .com, .net, .gov. You can see what country they're coming from, United States, Germany, and you can see anchor text, and all of that we can dive down deeper into in our other reports. So here we have the backlink report, which will give you a little bit more information about the good pages that they have, the good backlinks. You can see what the anchor text is, all that great data. And we can actually add these to a disavow list if we wanted. So if we're seeing something like this, and while it might be okay for eBay, but a link from a Chinese site for most people might not be something that is a good backlink, we'd be able to go ahead and add it to a disavow list that we could then later go ahead and disavow these links that we're not interested in. We have the anchors, the referring domains. So how many domains are actually referring to us? Just this one root domain alone is linking 122 million times, so quite a bit there. And the same with referring IP. How many domains are a part of that IP, and then how many backlinks are coming from specifically that IP. We have the index pages, and then we have a comparison. So I can actually type in Amazon.com, hit enter. We can see a graph of new backlinks, and it's looking pretty similar, following a similar trend here. But we can compare the domain and trust score, total number of backlinks, total number of domains, the follow to no follow ratio. As you can see, Amazon has a much better follow to no follow ratio. And we can see some more information here as well too, like the TLDs, referring IPs, all that great stuff. Now let's move into the advertising research portion of SEMrush. So for advertising research, you'll see and notice that it looks very, very similar to our organic research side. So you're going to see the total number of keywords that instead of them ranking organically for, these are keywords that they're actually placing ads for. We estimate the traffic from those keywords, and then we estimate the traffic cost. Now it's important to note, as with all of our data, this is on a national level here. So for both organic and for advertising research, these numbers are on a national level. So if you're placing ads and you don't see them here maybe, it could be that you're placing ads regionally, which a lot of people do. So these are just the ads that eBay is placing that would show up on a national result page. Okay, so here we can see the keyword, the position, the block it's in, whether it's on the top or the bottom, the volume, all the same data that you would see in the organic positions report. But we can actually see the ad itself that they're placing, which is very cool. So just right here on this report, we can see what the ad looks like. We can see the last time we saw the ad. So here we've got March 2017. So very cool data here. We can see these trends over time as well. Let's move into the position changes report now. Now, the position changes report is very interesting because what this is going to show us is not just the keywords that they're no longer ranking for, but actually the keywords that they're no longer placing ads for or are newly placing ads for. So this can give us a little bit more detail where with organic, we can't really determine why they lost their position, but here, if they lose their ad, that usually means they're just not placing the ads anymore. So a lot of insight we can draw from the position changes report. We have that same competitors report here as well. So you'll notice that these are vastly different. Domains. So we have stucku.com, whereas before Amazon was number one. Cheaper.com. So these are domains that maybe aren't doing so well organically, but can be major competitors in the AdWords side. So very good idea to look at both of these reports. Now let's look at the ad copies report. The ad copies report is basically just showing you all of the ad copies that we've found that eBay is basically placing here. So we can see the title of the ad, the actual copy, great deals on eBay, feed your passion on eBay, or full lace flower girl dresses. And we can actually see all of the keywords that bring up these ads. So a lot of general keywords, which is pretty interesting here. We've got shop Nike on eBay. Okay, so a lot of Nike keywords here. So just a very nice way to see which keywords are triggering which ads and how our competitors are actually framing their ads, which is very, very cool. We can take a look at the ad history report here. Now, the ad history report is going to take a look at all of the keywords that eBay.com is ranking for in the last 12 months. We'll see the coverage percentage. So are they placing them every month over the last 12 months? For eBay bestsellers, we can see that they are placing every single month. We can see and click on these months here to see how they maybe change this ad month to month. We can see some basic keyword information like volume and CPC, and then the traffic percent. So very cool here. We can use this to see if there are any gaps in our competitor's strategy. Maybe there's certain months where where our competitor, like eBay.com, is not placing ads for certain keywords, and maybe we can kind of move in on there and have a little bit less competition during those months. Or we can just get an idea of what their campaigns actually look like. And then again, we have the subdomains and URL reporting for the advertising research. Now we also have PLA research. And with PLA research, you can actually see the product listing ads or the Google Shopping ads that your competitors are placing. You can see what the ads look like. You can see the product title, the price, and things like that. So very cool. We also have copies and competitors available for PLA. This is only available at the business level, so if this is something that is very interesting to you, then you would want to check out our business subscription. Why don't we move down into traffic analytics now? Now, traffic analytics is very cool. It's one of our newer tools that just came out of beta. And traffic analytics is looking at actual traffic coming to your site. So instead of being estimates based on your advertising research or your organic research, we can actually see things like your direct traffic or traffic coming from referring sites, things like that, so you can get a better idea of exactly what's going on with you or your competitors' traffic. It's important to note that right now we are only showing desktop internet users, so not mobile users. So the traffic is going to look different than if you're simply just looking at it through your Google Analytics. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention just to your desktop when using this tool. So things might look a little bit different. We can see things like the referring sites, which search engine's giving us the most traffic, what social networks are giving you the most traffic. So really a lot of cool information that we can use here. Let's move into the domain versus domain now. In domain versus domain, we have a lot of cool ways to compare different domains. So let's use Amazon.com as an example. Now we have a few options. We can look at all keywords between eBay and Amazon.com, unique to the first domain keywords, common keywords, and unique keywords. So something that I like to do, and a little tip, why don't we go ahead and move to paid traffic or paid keywords. We can use this Venn diagram and select unique to the first domain's keywords. The thing you want to do is enter your competitor first and your domain second. And then when you hit go, what this is actually going to bring up is a list of keywords that eBay is placing ads for that Amazon.com is not placing ads for at all. So just a quick look, we have things like eBay, maybe not target keywords for Amazon, but it is ranked by volume, so some of these keywords might not make sense. But Xbox One games, this might be a keyword that Amazon actually wants to place an ad for. They definitely have Xbox One games on their site, and as we can see, we've already identified in such a short amount of time, identified a good keyword that eBay could be placing ads for, or sorry, Amazon could be placing ads for, that eBay is currently placing an ad for. So I can just go ahead and check that off and go ahead and export that along with any other keywords that I find that might be really, really good opportunities for me. Now let's hop into our keyword analytics. So let's go ahead and go to the overview. So for this, why don't we actually just go ahead and change what's entered. I'm going to use the word shoes. Obviously, we don't want to use ebay.com as a keyword. So with shoes, we can see the volume, the number of results, the cost per click, the competition. We can go ahead and see a phrase match and related keywords report. We have the CPC distribution. So how much does it cost to place an ad for shoes in different countries? Hong Kong being the most here. So some good information there. We can see the organic results. So who's actually ranking organically all the way down to the 100th place. And then we can take a look at the ad copy to see who is placing ads. So very cool there. Let's take a look at the phrase match report. So the phrase match report is nice because we can get some interesting data. So let's say we wanted to place ads on shoes, but we're not sure where some of the opportunity is. Maybe we're trying to place ads and we want to lower CPC. Well, what kind of keywords can we use that are going to be more cost effective than just shoes itself? We'd be able to go ahead and sort by CPC. So we could filter to include CPC less than $2. We could apply that. We could apply the same thing for keyword difficulty. Maybe we want it to have a low keyword difficulty. So this way we can rank organically, maybe a little bit easier for these keywords that show up. So there's a lot of ways to filter this report. We actually have a new tool though called the Keyword Magic tool, which I'll get to in a minute, that can do a lot of this, but even simpler. So it'll be very cool to check out. Let's look at the related keywords first though. So with related keywords, we're looking at keywords that are related to shoes as opposed to keywords that have the word shoes in it exactly. So here we can see a lot of common misspellings of the word shoes. So very cool. We can see that it's got a very high related because people searching shoes are probably also looking for shoes. So that's kind of nice there, is we can see not just the keywords that are related, but also misspellings. Now we can take a look at the ads history report. So just like the domain analytics when we're looking at ads history, now we're looking at all the domains in the last 12 months that have placed an ad for the keyword shoes. So we can see Zappos placing ads. We can see shoes.com place just a single ad. So a lot of great data that we can draw from this as well too. And even if they're not placing an ad right now, these could be future competitors as well. So something that we can definitely be keeping an eye on. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and now take a look at the Keyword Magic tool. So what I'm going to enter here is shoes. And what this is going to do is actually generate a phrase match report basically, but it's going to categorize all of these keywords. So here we can see all of the keywords that have the word men in them, all the keywords that have the word women, Nike, size, run, black, best. So it's really cool is we can filter down a lot deeper and do a much deeper dive into these keywords than we would with the actual phrase match report. So why don't we go ahead and select best. So now we can see all of the keywords that have the word best and the word shoes in them. And we can rank them by volume, all that great stuff. We could also filter by maybe a keyword difficulty. We're only interested in keyword difficulty from 10 to 50%. All right, so a much smaller list here. but we can see the total volume and average difficulty across this set of keywords. Maybe these are the keywords that I'm most interested in. Okay, these, between the keyword difficulty, these all work out for me. I can actually select these and export them to our keyword analyzer. So let's go ahead and put those selected keywords to our keyword analyzer. And when I go to the analyzer, we get a lot of very, very cool data here. So we can see the keywords, the seed keyword, which was shoes, which is what we entered, the volume, the keyword difficulty. We can actually update these metrics on the fly, which is very nice. But here we also have things like click potential, which is very, very cool. And we can take a look at these this group information as well. And also another cool feature is we can see these SERP features, which you can also see outside of the keyword analyzer. But once you do enter all the keywords that you're interested in, there's really a ton that you can do with this deep dive and analyze these sets of keywords that you put in here. So while the phrase match report is very, very useful, this keyword magic tool is going to give you the ability to really do some deep keyword research and really find what you're looking for. So definitely a tool I recommend checking out. Now it's time to hop into our project section. And our project section definitely has a lot in it. In just the past year, we have been making projects like crazy. So there's always something new to see in our project section. So just briefly, I'm going to go over some of the most used projects, starting here with the site audit tool. So with the site audit, we'll actually run a technical analysis of your site and find any issues that could be holding back your site. So for instance, ebay.com, I only ran 100 pages, so definitely didn't crawl the entire eBay site. But here we can see the total score is 82%. So they definitely have some room for improvement. We can see the errors, which are things that you're going to want to fix as soon as possible. Errors are things that can really be holding back your rankings. Warnings are more common practice, things that you would want to change. And then notices are things that you might just want to be aware of and actually don't affect your health score at all. So jumping into errors, we have things like we have some language issues here. So we can take a look in here and fix those href languages. When we go back to total errors, we can see things like external links being broken. If we have any sitemap errors, we're going to see that here. Any broken internal links, we're definitely going to see these here as well too. And then pages having www resolve issues. So a ton of errors really that we can take a look at. And if you do have them in here, you can see exactly where it's broken, where the link is located, things like that to make it very, very easy for you to go in and fix it. With warnings, like I mentioned, these are things that are more common practice. So here, images not having alt attributes. Are you going to be super penalized for that? No, you're not, but these are things that you would want to fix that can either lead to some more optimization or just ease of use for your users. So a lot of stuff here that we can also fix. And then notices, pages being blocked by the SEMrush crawler. Of course, that's not going to hurt your health, but it's something that you might want to be aware of. Okay, we've got the crawled pages report. These are all the pages that we crawled, so you can take a look at the actual pages themselves. Crawl depth is a nice little metric to see how many clicks it takes to get to these pages when you start on the home page. So if you have a page that you want a lot of people going to, it might not be a good idea to hide it, 5, 6, 7 clicks into your site. So you might want to improve your linking structure to make sure people can actually find those pages easier. We have a stats page, so we can see the percentage of markup, whether it's schema or open graph, Twitter cards, micro formats. We've got the crawl depth, how many clicks it takes to actually get to a lot of your pages. And since I only crawled 100 pages, all of them are actually just the one click, which is nice. We have the status code, so what percentage of pages have 5xx or 4xs. Those are going to be the big issues like 404s or 500s, things that we couldn't reach. But you can also see 300s and 200s. We can see the how many pages actually have canonical tags, how many don't have canonical tags, how many pages have AMP pages. So that's very cool there, especially as AMP is getting more and more popular. Whether or not we found a sitemap for you, you have to make sure that your sitemap has the correct URL structure, things like that. We can see the incoming internal links. So some of these pages don't even have many incoming internal links. So you might want to improve your link structure here. And then we have the hreflang usage. So this is for, multilingual sites, making sure that these are being used properly, and enough are definitely very, very important. We have the international SEO, which is going to get into a little bit more detail about the hreflangs. So we can see, if it's conflicting within the page source, if there's any issues here, what languages are actually being used on what pages. So a lot of great information there, especially if you are catering to multiple different countries and languages. We have the HTTPS. So what's nice here is we can actually, it looks like the pages that we crawled didn't redirect over to the secured eBay site, and that's fine. But we have recently implemented this. It's basically going to take the errors that have to do with your security certificate, and if you do have any issues, we're going to display them there. We have the crawlability, which is not quite out yet, but this is a great example of there's always something new. So you might see some new tabs, and this is when it's ready, you can actually get notified of when that's going to be coming out. So very cool here. Compare crawls. So with the compared crawls tab, you can actually see how you're improving over time, what errors are going up, where errors are going down, all that great information. And then your progress, are you fixing what you need to fix? Are the errors going up or down? And that can be really nice to show clients and things like that to make sure work is getting done and that they're improving. Now let's go ahead and go back to our projects, and we can check out the position tracking. So the position tracking, I'm actually going to create a new project really quick here for eBay. So I'm going to show you what the setup looks like. So for position tracking, you can set it up either as a root domain, subdomain, URL, subfolder. We can select a device and location. So like I had mentioned previously, a lot of our data in our regular database is on a national level. This is where we're going to be able to get a lot more of that local data that you might be wanting, and especially if you are, if you have clients who are local, or if your business is local, then some of that national data won't apply to you. But we can go ahead and go to United States, Alaska, Anchorage. We can look at the national levels of volume, or we can look at the local levels of volume, and then we can do desktop, phone, and tablet here. So let's keep it to desktop. We can add in the competitors we want to track against ebay.com, and then we can add in any keyword. So another thing I had mentioned is that our current database has 120 million keywords in it. Well, if there are super obscure, super long tail keywords that aren't in our database, you can actually track them in our position tracking. So that's really, really nice there. You can pull keywords straight from Google Analytics. You can pull it from SEMrush, or even just from a text file. So once you set that up, let's dive into what that looks like. Okay. So here we have a visibility trend, how eBay is ranking across these keywords that I've entered. I've only entered about 20 keywords, and some of them are branded. So they're doing very, very well. We can see estimated traffic. We can see average position, and that's just across this set of 20 keywords that I've entered. We can see their rank, view the SERP if we'd like, see the volume. And if we had entered that we wanted to see local volume, maybe we entered in Anchorage, Alaska. This volume and CPC is actually going to represent data based on that location. So that's very, very cool to see how much volume or how much traffic you could possibly expect from a much more local area. So here we have the rankings distribution. So we can just see, how many are you ranked in the top 3, top 10, top 20, and so on. We can see a little bit more information as far as rankings. So if there's a trend in ranks, okay, they're position 1 all the time, but maybe they're dipping down to position 2 every now and then. We'd be able to see that information here as well. We can see which landing pages are performing the best, then the difference over time as well too. Just this landing page has a pretty large difference going on, so we'd be able to kind of keep tabs on that. Very cool here. And we can see the keywords themselves, okay, they lost these keywords on this particular landing page. So if we're trying to track by landing page, this landing pages report is extremely useful. And then we have competitors discovery, which is another really, really cool tool. We had taken a look at 2 earlier competitor reports, but again, that's looking at competitors on a national level, whereas if we enter in a local level in position tracking, we're going to find these local competitors, and just across the keywords that we've entered. So everybody ranks for keywords that they maybe don't care about as much as other keywords. So we can actually be filtering those out by only adding the keywords that we care about and finding competitors just across those keywords. So that can be extremely useful. And position tracking is definitely something that almost every user uses position tracking. So it's got a huge use, and definitely something you want to set up either for your own business or your clients. And now we have this new devices and location tab because we actually just added this feature. In the past, you would have to make multiple projects, but now I can actually create a project right away. Let's say I have my national project right here. I can add a new device and location. So let's say I do want that Anchorage, Alaska report. I can put desktop, and then I can go ahead and pull keywords, those 20 keywords I'm currently tracking, and then go ahead and start tracking that device and location. And now right away, I can go back. That's going to be pulling and gathering information. And now I can switch between different locations very, very quickly, very, very easily. So I can put up to 10 locations in here, and I can switch between desktop and mobile between these. So a very, very nice, easy way to see how you're doing. Maybe you have a chain of stores in different states or different towns or cities. You'll be able to see all that information here. So something that's very, very useful, especially if you are you're more local based. Okay, now let's take a look at the SEO ideas, which is another really cool tool. So SEO ideas is taking a look at your landing pages that are ranking for keywords that you enter, and what it allows you to do is actually see some optimization ideas. So we have a bunch of different pages here. So let's take a look at this. Movies.half.ebay.com. The keyword that we have here is movies, and we can take a look at the ideas that we have. So our SEO strategy doesn't need improvements. We've got no keyword cannibalization, but what we do have is it's a good idea to avoid stuffing in the meta tag. So we're using the word movies a few too many times in the meta tag. We've got it possibly stuffing in the body tag going on. We're not using it in the H1 tag. So while we are kind of stuffing it in our metadata and in our body tag, we haven't used it at all in our H1. So that could be a major issue. Maybe we avoid using it as much in the body, but make sure it's in the H1. And what this is based on is actually looking at your top competitors for these keywords. So for movies, we can actually see a detailed analysis and kind of see, your rival's average use in the body, the rival's average use in the title tag and the H1. And what's important is we're getting this data directly from people who are ranked higher than you for this keyword. So we already know that whatever your rivals are doing, it's working because they are ranked very, very high for these keywords and nationally. So we can actually see, Cinemark, AMC theaters. These people are doing something that are making them rank higher than you. And the SEO ideas tool is going to help you kind of understand what they might be doing that you're not doing. So it could be the length of the articles that you're writing. Here are some semantic ideas. Enrich your page's content. These are keywords that are also showing up in these rival pages. These backlinks are, common places that your competitors who are ranked higher than you are actually having links, their backlinks that they have. So they might be good ideas to get links from. Again, depending, a lot of the, this is for movies, and the AMC might not be trying to rank for the same set of keywords or the same way that ebay.com is trying to rank. So something like popcorn might not be a semantic idea that makes sense for ebay.com. So you want to make sure you come in with that critical eye to see if it makes sense for you. You can actually get the technical issues based on the site audit data, so you could make this page more crawlable. We actually didn't even find the page. And then you can connect to your Google account and see user experience, bounce rate data, and things like that. So there is a lot of data that we can get in here doing full analysis of keywords. Coming soon, we actually have this internal linking tool. So again, another example, these projects are always being updated with new features. They're always being optimized for you based on user suggestions and things like that. So let's head on back to projects and talk about the social media tool. So we also have a social media tool. It's pretty quick and simple to set up. You just enter the pages you want to track of you and your competitors, give it a token by logging into your Facebook or your Twitter, and then we can actually collect all this great data. So why don't we use Twitter as an example? So here we can see our audience. We can see how it's growing. We can see the trends over time. We can see the activity, so how many tweets us or our competitors have made versus different timelines, the week prior to this week. We can actually change all that information if we want by changing the dates here. We can see the tweets themselves, how they're doing based on total engagement. We could check out our competitors and see which posts actually get the most engagement and maybe copy their format. Maybe they do a bunch of giveaways and those are the ones that are getting the most engagement. Maybe we should start doing that as well too. We can get a deeper dive into their engagement, how it's being compared week to week. What the engagement is made up of. Is it likes, retweets, or replies? What hashtags they're using the most and what the engagement per tweet is based on those hashtags. We have mentioners, which is going to be showing, and it looks like it's loading. Here we go. These are the people who are mentioning eBay the most and how what their followers look like. Maybe we can find some people who might want to mention us and maybe we should tweet at them. And then the mentions themselves, these are the actual mentions of ebay.com. We found about 7,000. And we can see the context of those mentions and things like that in here as it loads up. So definitely a ton of information in here that is very, very usable and to kind of improve your strategy or at least spy on your competitors and see what their strategy is looking like. Now let's take a look at the brand monitoring tool. And I'll do a quick setup to show you how you set up the brand monitoring tool. So I'm going to make a campaign for Walmart as an example. It will be pretty easy to understand. So we'll say Walmart campaign. And then we can enter in the main or alternative keywords. So what's pretty cool is what we want to do is enter in basically keywords that have to do with Walmart. So that would be the word Walmart, for instance. And then we can add in some alternative keywords. So that's our top branding or top level branding here for the main keywords. But we could also put in something like Wally World or Walmart spelled wrong maybe. So things that people might commonly do to find you. So with the or, it only needs to find one of these to be considered a correct mention. With and, we'd be able to put in things like maybe we'd put in something like review. We could put in something like maybe we have a product or service we want to see. We can look in at customer service, for instance. Put that in there. So let's actually get rid of review. We'll leave it to customer service. So maybe we're interested in seeing people talking about Walmart and their customer service. And we can add not keywords as well too. So for example, we could put in jobs, and now instead of being filled with mentions of customer service jobs at Walmart, it'll narrow us better down to just the customer service, maybe reviews or people talking about our customer service. We can change the language. Maybe we only want English mentions, or maybe we only want mentions from the United States. And then we can actually get this report emailed to us every day. We can choose the time. We can do weekly on a certain day. Wednesday at 4 a.m. is when I want my report. So very specific there. And I'm not going to save this because I already have one set up down here. And now what we're seeing here, and it's the same as what I just had with customer service. So here we have, perfect resume example and cover letter, probably not something that we really want. So we can actually move that to the trash. Not really a good mention. Customer reviews. Okay, this could be really good. So if someone's reviewing our customer service potentially, we can actually view this page itself. Maybe we star it and add it to our favorites so we can come back to it later. Maybe we'll mark it as a negative review. Maybe it wasn't a good review, or maybe it was a positive review. We can mark it that way. And we can just really see how people are talking about our customer service, what sites are talking about us a lot. And these are actually all Walmart.com itself. So what we can do is block Walmart.com, and we'll block as irrelevant here, and then we are good to go here. So then we're not going to see Walmart.com showing up anymore because we mentioned ourselves quite a bit. So now we can see some more, case studies, service resumes, eye exam coupons. So maybe they're talking about customer service for eye exams. So we can actually check these out, mark them how we want, and come back to them later. So definitely something very, very cool that we can check out. And then we have mentioned volume trend. How many times are we mentioned per day, and how is that changing day to day? So definitely something very cool, and a lot of really great uses for that brand monitoring tool. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our backlink audit tool, which is in beta, as well as the brand monitoring tool is also in beta. So let's click right on in. So the backlink audit tool is nice. It's going to show you all of your backlinks that might be causing you issues, that could possibly be detracting from your rankings, or things that we consider toxic. So there's a lot of factors that go into a toxic score. So we're pulling the backlinks from our database, but you can also connect to your Google Search Console. And then what you're able to do is pull in more backlinks, make sure your full backlink profile is in our tool, or you can even upload a CSV of your backlinks. So here we have a particular link. We're saying it's toxic because it has it has money anchor text, which is generally could be an indicator of a toxic link, but that will never alone make a toxic link. We can actually see what is made up of that. So we have community warning. We find that this particular domain has a lot of issues, that a lot of people are disavowing this domain, so it's low. It's a bad community warning. We've got low domain power, so the trust to domain score ratio is low. So this site itself has a lot of spammy backlinks as well. So the profile of this, or the backlink profile of this other site, isn't very good. And then we have some potentially dangerous things like the money anchor text. The geography doesn't really match up with the main site, and it's a weak domain. So these sort of things are indicators that they could be toxic. And once you have enough indicators and go into that toxic level, you can kind of see that, you might want to disavow these. And we can actually move that straight to our disavow. So very cool. And then we'll end up with a disavow list here. So that can be very cool to make sure we're checking out the backlinks that could be harming our site. Now let me just kind of briefly explain some of the other projects. A lot of them are still in beta or even alpha, but just to give you an idea of what you can use them for. So link building is going to improve your workflow with actually building links. It's going to be a way to actually track how those how the progress of links. So maybe you're reaching out to people trying to get some links. You can actually improve your workflow by using our link building tool. Again, very early alpha. Then we have the PPC keyword tool, which is going to help with your AdWords campaigns. It makes it very, very easy to group your keywords, to pull in keywords, and really just create campaigns from scratch and then upload them directly into AdWords. And then we have the organic traffic insights. You can connect your Google Search Console and your Google Analytics, and then what you'll do is be able to get a little bit more insight than what we can just find by analyzing SERPs. So we'll actually have your actual real data in here based on your Google Analytics and Search Console. So a lot of great stuff in the organic traffic insights tool. And the content tool is really nice, especially if you're someone who creates a lot of articles or makes a lot of blogs. You're going to be able to track how each article is doing, what the social shares look like, keywords that you're ranked for. It's just a great way to manage the content that you're creating and see how it is performing after creation. So a very cool tool there as well. If you are interested in any of these tools, definitely shoot us an email at mail@semrush.com. We can give you a personalized demo to kind of go in depth more into some of these tools, especially if you're very interested in them as well. So we have the SEO content template as well too. So I actually did one earlier. I went ahead and chose a target keyword of pizza. And what that does is actually tells us how we can create content to rank well for the word pizza. So you could put in anything here. So we could put in shoes. We could choose, Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, desktop or phone. And then it's basically taking the SEO ideas and doing the reversal. So instead of already having content or a landing page and trying to rank for it, we're going to tell you what you can do. Try to get backlinks from this. Make sure you're using these keywords. Make sure the title looks like this. So a lot of cool information here that you can use to create content that is actually going to rank well. So still in beta, but a very cool tool to try out. We have a lead generation tool. This is actually going to let people, potential clients, to go to your site if you are maybe a marketing agency or an internet marketing agency, and let them audit directly on your site, and they'll get an email about it, and then you can collect leads that way. And then finally, we have our My Reports. So My Reports is a way to customize PDFs for either yourself or clients. So if we create a report here, we could create a organic info report. We can actually pull in the organic search summary for ebay.com. We could pull in our backlink summary if we wanted, see how many backlinks we have. Basically, we turned all of our reporting into that you would see on our interface. We've turned them into widgets that you can actually create PDFs of. So you can have these emailed directly to yourself or directly to your client. If you have white labeling on your account, you can actually add your own text to these emails. You can schedule these reports. You can enable a table of contents. So there's really a ton you can do to customize and create the kind of perfect report that works for you or your clients. What's cool is if you don't know where to start, we actually have templates available. So I can go ahead and click Full Organic Research Report. And let's do it for ebay.com. And now I'm going to go ahead and create the report for the US. And I hit create. And now it's going to autofill a lot of this information that is going to be very, very useful if we're looking for kind of an organic overview. And we can, delete these if we're not happy with that particular report, or we can add in more reports to get a fuller kind of look. But what's nice is we do have those templates available, so you're not just kind of thrown to the wolves to make your own report right away. So you can get an idea of what reports we find useful and start there, so you have a base to start from. Okay, that covers basically everything that I want to show you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email mail@semrush.com. If you're interested in a personal demo, you can also email us. We can go on over some of this information one-on-one or dive a little deeper into some tools that might interest you. Definitely an option available to you. Again, thank you for watching, and please check out our other videos. We have another 101 that dives deeper into each tool, but it's broken up into different videos, and we're always putting out great tutorial videos and webinars that you can check out on our channel.